Good evening and good afternoon and good morning wherever you are joining us from, and welcome to Champions Network TV in collaboration with NDWG Global TV and Mbire TV. Today, we focus on a critical moment in Zimbabwe, in Zimbabwe's democracy. What is the role of the members of parliament ahead of their voting for Amendment Bill number 3? With the secret ballot still to take place, questions are already emerging. Who are MPs accountable to at this point? What should guide their decision before they cast their vote? And how can citizens engage before it is too late? To help us unpack this, I am joined by Dr. Zembe, who is a governance expert, a politician in his own right, and a human rights activist. Welcome, Dr. Zembe.
Yes, greetings, Ramisha, and greetings to our dear viewers and listeners of this program being hosted by the Champions Network TV in collaboration with NDWG TV.
Right. Dr. Zembe, we are at a crucial stage before the MPs cast their vote in this Amendment Bill number 3. Can you help us understand why this moment before MPs actually cast their vote is so important in the constitutional process?
Yes, in this preceding period before the MPs embark on the final stage of decision making in Parliament through a secret ballot, it is important to highlight the fact that it's civic engagement by the process of enactment of a basic piece of legislation which has an impact of supplanting the salient aspects of our constitutional order. We are supposed to be in a people-driven democracy, which requires a consultative process for any public law to be enacted, which has an impact on changing the paradigm relating to governance in the country. So the consultative process is supposed to involve the people in harnessing the people's views, the people's interpretation of the proposed laws. In this particular case, the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 of 2026 the involvement of the people should indeed be thorough, because it is the people who exercise their power and authority in enacting laws that will govern the country. The members of parliament, among other responsibilities, have to ensure that they talk to Zimbabweans in their own right as representatives of the Zimbabwean people. They need to be generous as members of parliament, to be informed thoroughly regarding the views of the majority of citizens of this country, as is required in a system of government which is based on representative democracy, wherein the people send their emissaries in an orderly manner to the legislative assemblies, as would be required by social, political, and economic order. And the representatives have to be a replica in thought processes of the people's expressions, free expressions. So MPs must have been observing the entire process without being partisan, as we know that the representative nature or the representativeness is based on citizens who reside in geographical areas that are called single member constituencies, 210 constituencies in the country. And members of parliament represent all without discrimination, and particularly the views of the people regarding the pending legislation. We also know that there are members of parliament who represent interest groups. The groups of women, youth, and people living with disabilities, and also a group of professional bodies, which may be said designated professional bodies, as we know that there are some members of parliament who are appointed for their expertise, for their professional base. And so the representative nature of the members of parliament should be exercised without discrimination in a representative democracy. At this stage of the CAB 3 bill, that is the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 of 2026, the institution of parliament itself has begun the process of analyzing the data that it has collected through its shambolic hearings, through the hearings that were not open, that were not free and fair. And it is not the designs of the representative democracy for the institution of parliament to handle the data that was gathered by the shambolic consultations driven by bias. And we hope that the Parliament of Zimbabwe will act professionally in analyzing that data and perhaps informing the nation together with the members of Parliament. That process must be open. At this stage, we don't know how the Parliament of Zimbabwe is going to analyze the views that it has gathered from the citizens of Zimbabwe, because they are still receiving the information through written form.
Can you hear me, Dr. Zembe? You seem to have frozen. Can you hear me, Dr. Zembe? I think Dr. Zembe might have frozen. Let me bring in Fanawa.
And these programs are helpful. And these are also avenues through which the members of Parliament are getting to collect the data. And also the Parliament itself is also collecting the data through the engagement we are having right now. We expect Parliament to inform citizens of Zimbabwe how it's going to analyze the data. Will it use the qualitative approach or the quantitative approach? Because the people deserve to know the results of analysis at every stage that is done by Parliament as a central institution of decision-making in terms of the function of the legislature in the country. So that at every stage, citizens must be informed, and at the same time, citizens must also express their views, because it is a public process. So I'm sure that at every stage that the process will handle the people's views or will handle the data interpretation, Parliament shall communicate publicly to the citizens of this country, so that in the final analysis, the members of Parliament should be professionally influenced by the voices of the majority citizens of Zimbabwe, so that decisions that will be made through the representatives, the MPs, will be corroborated with the decisions that the people have already made. And with regard to the Constitutional Amendment number 3 Bill of 2026, there is abundance of clear decisions that have been made by the majority citizens of this country, here at home and in the diaspora, that of rejecting that omnibus bill, of suggesting amendments that have power to overthrow the existing constitutional order. And I hope, Chairman, I've been able to state the responsibilities or the functions of members of parliament in terms of the debate and discussions that are under consideration in this nation. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zembe. There might be those people who are watching us on Champions Network TV, on NDWG Global TV, or you are watching us on Mbire TV. If you have got any questions to ask, you can put them in the chat box, or if you want to come physically in the studio to ask Dr. Zembe, you are welcome to come in and ask your questions. And in the house already, we have got Mfana Samson. So I will give you an opportunity, if from what Dr. Zembe has already said, if you have got any questions to ask or any comments to make regarding this important topic, what are the responsibilities of our members of parliament before their final vote to say either they are adopting the bill or they are rejecting the bill in the House of Assembly. Mfana something. He seems to be not there. Bachangoroma, you have been watching us. You were here 15 minutes before. If you have got any questions, you can ask your question. If you have got any comments to make, if you want to come into the studio, you can just follow the link that is in the chat box, and you can join. I encourage you to share and subscribe to those the channel that we are watching this broadcast from. Dr. Zembe, we come to your next question. I know the MPs are going to cast their vote. You have touched quite a little bit about that, but I just wanted you to respond it in a very short, to say before MPs cast their vote, what is expected of them in terms of consultation, reflection, and their accountability? Is it to the people or is it to their parties?
Thank you for that question. It is very clear that we are in a representative democracy system of government. Members of parliament, therefore, have to be answerable to the people of Zimbabwe, not to their political parties, not to their presidents or leaders, not to other people who may not be part of Zimbabweans. And so they have an enormous responsibility to make decisions that are needed to govern this country. And as you know, it is the people who have the power. And this is the only orderly way of producing social order peacefully through representation. So that's an enormous task, particularly at this juncture, when a proposed law is being made by occupants of public office, which has the impact of changing the terms and the conditions of their service, where they have put self-interest ahead of public interest. So it is incumbent upon members of parliament to defend the people that they represent, not their partisan positions, not their leaders, not any other interests, private or personal. The MPs have to desist from being selfish and pursuing selfish interests when they are occupying public office. Their responsibility at this juncture is to listen and to whatever citizens are saying, so that when they make their final representative decisions, those decisions shall represent the people's views and also national interest. Thank you, Chair. I had to be brief there.
Thank you very much. That's a very powerful conversation. And as I said, those watching us, you can come into the studio. You can put your questions in the chat box, or you can come into the studio. So we have got Mbizi in the house. Mbizi, I hope you have heard what Dr. Furaha Izembe has been articulate in terms of what the responsibilities of our MPs. If you have got any questions or comments to make, you can put it forward to Dr. Zembe. And apparently Mbizi has just left. So we move on, Dr. Zembe. You know, you have articulated that the MPs has to be the representatives of people. But as we know, our MPs are under enormous pressure. We have heard public figures like General Matatu coming up and saying, we support the bill. We have heard the spokesperson of the president in the name of George Charamba saying the bill is constitutional, and we have heard also Christopher Muchanga adding his views to it, and a number of voices. And recently we have heard there are some money flying around being given to the members of parliament. Is this not going to influence their decision when it comes to this secret ballot? Over to you, Dr. Zembe.
It is the responsibility of members of parliament not to allow themselves to be abused when they are treated to goodies, particularly by those of evil intention. Expressions that have been made by public officials, such as the commander of the Defense Forces, Matatu, are unfortunate. But such utterances should never threaten or intimidate members of parliament to act in a manner that betrays their function. General Matatu is a leader in the military, and members of parliament are political representatives of the people. General Matatu is not a member of parliament. General Matatu will not be casting a vote to decide in parliament through a secret ballot. Therefore, what he has said is hot air, is irrelevant to the actual decision that will be made by the representatives of the people. That is to say, members of parliament. Look, there's division of labor in the country. A member of parliament is doing what is supposed to be done according to the constitutional dictates and the philosophy of governance, the representative democracy philosophy. And people who make even pronouncements, being members of parliament, they make those pronouncements on their own behalf. And such pronouncements, as you have pointed, that were made by Christopher Muchangwa, cannot influence an ethical, professional member of parliament when it comes to decision making. Because these members of parliament, as I have indicated, they represent the generality of the people of Zimbabwe. And when you look at 210 physical constituencies, that responsibility is much, much higher than utterances that are made by a single member of parliament or like Christopher Muchangwa. You see, there is the point. Each member of parliament is going to make a rational decision, a decision that resonates with the expressions that the member of parliament has witnessed ever since the process of legislation began. So each member of parliament has to act representing the people. He or she should not be influenced by the next door member of parliament. No, it doesn't work like that. Neither should they be influenced by the whipping that is often done by the chief whips. Neither should they be influenced by political party interests, which are partisan. Neither should they be influenced by their leader, who may occupy the post of president in the country. No, there is division of labor here, and the MP is an MP answerable to the people. So in this particular case, those who have tried to give money or bribes to members of parliament or to treat them to goodies, I think members of parliament should never be influenced by such evil gestures. Today I read an ex-post where the deputy youth chairman in ZANU-PF, one John Paradza, who I think is a deputy minister in the same youth ministry, that statement abhors a proposal by Chivayo to bribe members of parliament. You know, the statement rejects completely that intention to corrupt parliament as an institution. I'm sure some listeners and viewers here have witnessed that X, which was posted today in a public statement signed by the deputy youth chairman of ZANU-PF political party, really attacking this aspect of trying to demean the role of parliament in Zimbabwe. the role of MPs in Zimbabwe. So, I think it is correct to say that the members of parliament must take heed of such statements that warn them not to be corrupted and betray the people. So I think the point is very strong and clear. But that we are beginning to see cases from unusual. So let me throw the chair back to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zembe. I think that's a very strong statement to say, even within the quarters where we don't expect such statement to be coming, saying to our members of parliament, stand to do the duty that you were elected by your constituency. Before I give Kagona an opportunity to ask Dr. Zembe a question, there is a question on the chat. I'll put it up there for you, Dr. Zembe, to see. We hear that MPs have been bought, so surely there is no hope that they will represent the will of the people. What is the role of the opposition in that regard? That's a question from Timothy, who is watching us on the social media. Over to you, Dr. Zembe, to respond to.
Yes, the role of the opposition is to do what we are doing here, and particularly what I am doing here.
Let me give an opportunity to Kagona. If you have got any questions to Dr. Zembe, or if you have got any comments or any additions to make to this discussion, our topic is what is the role of MPs, particularly in this time before they cast their final vote, to say either the bill sails through or the bill is rejected, because they are the last button. Of course, they are going to debate. There are going to be this parliamentary report from all these consultations, and at the end of it, each MP will be faced by a secret ballot to decide whether he is supporting the bill or not supporting the bill. So over to you, Kagona.
Good evening, Mr. Misha, and welcome, Mr. Zembe. Thank you very much for sharing your insight around these issues. But my worry is that we hear that the MPs have been compromised, and this has been taking place since I think they were after the elections, immediately after the elections. And what guarantee do we have as members of, the general public of Zimbabwe to, that these people are going to represent our will? And is there any evidence on the ground to suggest that these people, the MPs, are going around in their constituencies, coinciding or enlightening or giving an awareness to the people of Zimbabwe where they represent? Is there any evidence that this is happening?
Thank you very, very much, Kagona, for your input. To say, I think your main worry is what guarantee do we have that the MPs are going to act according to their responsibility in parliament. I know we have lost Dr. Zembe, but I will just try to answer it to the best of my knowledge. I have had an opportunity to speak to some people who have some ears to what actually is happening on the ground. I think if you have listened to Dr. Zembe when he's alluded that I think one of the leaders in the youth in ZANU-PF are actually advising the MPs to not to be bought, and so there is an overwhelming evidence to say the MPs, in as much as people are coming publicly and saying, "Oh, we support the bill," we support the bill, and a lot of people are really convinced that the bill is for no good. Let me just go back to some of the notes that I was writing when I was having a conversation. Actually, the bill sometimes the actual intention. So that's the importance of this conversation we are having, to make people aware that in as much as it might appear as a simple matter of extending the presidential term or changing that the president is voted in by parliament, but the bill itself has got more sinister intention that it wants to achieve. So I think in a nutshell, I think our greatest hope is this awareness that we are doing by having this conversation, so that when people hear what we are talking about, they can take it to their MPs and hold them accountable to say, have you been talking to us? So have you heard our views? And what are your views? And so that at every turn, they are reminded of the enormous responsibility they carry on their shoulders by being in that important house of parliament. Dr. Zembe is back. I will just give him a brief of your before you dropped Dr. Zembe. Kagona expressed a concern to say, what guarantee can we have that our members of parliament will vote in our favor? So I was trying to respond in your absence when I was saying to Kagona that I think the statement by the youth leader there is a good indication to say that's a message that is going to them, and also these things that we are doing to conscientize, to give the members of parliament an understanding of the immense responsibility they hold on their shoulders when they are faced with that secret bout in that whether voting booth that will be in. I'll give you for you to respond in short. Our time is almost come for a
Yes, I would urge the citizens of Zimbabwe to continue to make those demands on their members of parliament, to caution them and to continue urging them to make the right decision when it comes to the voting stage. It's like guarding them, reminding them that they have to act in a representative manner. You see, that is the only defense citizens would have, to ensure that their members of parliament are properly guided and in the homes that we stay. And as the members of parliament they come back and discuss with the people and mingle with the people must continue to make their voices louder and louder until members of parliament pass a negative vote to this bill. In other words, citizens must continue to urge their members of parliament not to betray them in the secret ballot. I think that is my response here, Ramisha. People must remain vigilant and must correctly guide their members of parliament so that the members of parliament will indeed be truly representative of the views of the people. Thank you.
You're muted.
Dr. Zembe, before I give you your final minute to respond to the final question, I just want to flag some of the comments that has been coming in the chat box. And this is the Mubaiwa Zuke. And I have zero respect for this money mongering MPs. And he continues to say the next, well, it was the same. He posted the same comment twice. Before Dr. Zembe give your final, I give you your final question. I give Kagona your final remark in just half a minute, if you can.
No, just really to thank Dr. Zembe with what they are doing. I follow them quite a lot, their pressers and everything. And I got quite a lot of knowledge and understanding of what is happening now from your press conferences. And I thank you for that. And I urge you to keep doing that, please, and keep posting those press conferences so that we continue to get enlightenment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have got another comment from the people who are watching live on the channels, and this one is saying, Honorable Susan Matsunga of Budiriro North constituent is thrown his people under the bus. She I think she publicly said she supported the bill. So, Dr. Zembe, if you can respond to this in under 2 minutes. MPs are about to make a constitutional decision in a secret ballot at some point. What must they do right now, before now and the final vote, to ensure that their vote remain legitimate in the eyes of the people, like Mubaiwa Zuke says, who is saying she doesn't have any respect for money mongering MPs, and also to Susan, who is saying, Jerem, who is saying Susan Mutsungi of Member of Parliament of Budiriro North is already betrayed their people. So what must they do between now and their voting so that they might preserve a legitimate vote? Over to you, Dr. Zembe.
Yes, firstly, I wish to welcome the remarks by Kagona, and who indicated that he is following the work that I do on behalf of the people, on behalf of the nation. Thank you very much. It is such a feedback that informs us that we will need to work harder and harder. Regarding the behavior of the Budiriro North MP, well, it's based on ignorance, really, because at this stage, a member of parliament should not indicate how she is going to cast a secret ballot. You know, when a member indicates that, it is really out of ignorance, and it's a tragedy, because the secret ballot is supposed to be secret indeed. What the members of parliament currently should be doing is to listen, talk to the people, gather information of the mood in the country. And so that when they make decisions representing the people, those decisions will be secret. And members in Budiriro North, citizens, must continue to pressurize that member of parliament who has done something unethical. You know, coming out to open indicating how she is going to vote in a secret ballot. That is unethical. And in fact, the members of Zimbabweans who reside in that constituency must begin to recall such a member of parliament, dismiss her. She doesn't know her responsibilities. You know, a secret ballot is the last stage of the legislation process. And members of parliament should keep their decisions and until they cast them representing the people secretly. In fact, what that member of parliament has done is very harmful to her own interests and to the interests of the citizens who live in Budiriro North constituency. That's not the way the work should be done of representative democracy. In fact, now the people of that constituency have been forewarned, and they must continue to urge that member of parliament to go and reject the Constitution Amendment Bill number 3. Now that she has betrayed the trust and the vow and the oath that she took as a member of parliament. So that is the way to deal with the recalcitrant members of parliament who just are ignorant about the responsibilities, national responsibilities that they are supposed to discharge. So it's unfortunate, but the people can deal with her so that she will represent the people's values when she casts a vote, which will be secret. This is my advice to citizens in that constituency and in other constituencies where these members of parliament openly parade how they are going to vote prematurely. That's unethical, that's unprofessional. They must continue to get the mood and the spirit of the people so that when they cast their ballots secretly, no one will get to know how they've acted. So I hope that those who have expressed the public support of the bill prematurely are going to change and act professionally when they actually cast their secret ballot when the time comes. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zembe. And we really appreciate your insights and your guidance in this conversation. So we are coming to our end. So as we heard tonight, the vote has not yet happened, and the moment and that moment is matters. It is important to get engaged, to remain engagement. Demand accountability from our MPs, and for moments to have their voices heard. The question still remains: will MPs listen before they vote? For tonight, I'll say good night. Stay tuned. We will be joining another program that is starting in the next minute.
To help us grow, please give us a big thumbs up, share this video with your network, and hit that subscribe button right now.